The FNAF movie. If you don't know, the FNAF Phase 2 movie came out today. Well, yesterday. I don't know. It depends where you live. Anyways, the FNAF 2 movie just came out. Is it good is the question. I personally think so, but there was definitely a lot of things wrong with it. Let's just get into it because I have a lot to say. First of all, no spoilers. Just no spoilers real quick. We'll talk about spoilers in a second. No spoilers. Is it good? I'd say so. I still think there's a few things. I still think this movie is 10 times better if you are a FNAF fan. If you're just a normal person, know nothing really about FNAF, it's definitely not going to be as enjoyable. There was a lot of Easter eggs. There was a lot of good things. There was definitely a lot of bad things. I will say, definitely better than the first movie. Absolutely, 100% better than the first movie. There were a few parts I was a bit iffy on, but overall it's good. Definitely scarier. First movie did not really get scared. This one I did a few times. Yeah, it definitely startled me a bit. And I can, without a doubt, say it definitely did push the barrier PG-13. Definitely not by a whole bunch. Honestly, by the interviews, they made it seem like they showed so much. They definitely showed some like blood and definitely some of the more ruthless kind of kills, but it definitely wasn't too bad. They definitely did push PG-13 though. But overall, was it good? Yes. I will say it was good. Again, few things didn't really sit right with me, or wasn't a huge fan of, but I think overall it was pretty good. I do think toward like the middle of the movie, I think it went too fast. I'm glad it went faster, but it went a bit too fast, if you know what I mean. Like, I think if they just slowed it down a tiny bit and fleshed out a bit more, way better. Animatronics, they were good. Matt had an interesting voice for Toy Bonnie. Toy Chica, it sounded exactly like I would think Toy Chica would sound like. Overall, pretty good. I do think the animatronics weren't used as much as they should have been. You'll understand when you watch the movie. Ending, I don't know. I don't know. I still have a few thoughts. We'll talk about that in a moment in spoilers. But overall, I think it was a good movie. Again, better than the second one. Now let's talk about spoilers, because again, I have a lot to talk about. Okay. Let's just talk about the animatronics. The animatronics were not used. I'm talking about specifically the Wizards. The Wizards were used for about 2 minutes. I think their total screen time was like 2-3 minutes. They got the Vanny treatment. Again, spoiler warning. Spoilers. Spoilers. They really didn't do anything. They did nothing. They had a total, like, everything you see in the trailer is practically every scene they had. Literally. Everything you see in the trailer is exactly the screen time they had. Every scene, it's obviously cut, but every scene you see in the trailer of the Wizards is literally every shot of them in the movie. They do not get used at all because Mike immediately gets rid of it. Mike immediately shuts them off. So really, they really had nothing, and that's one of my biggest complaints. The Wizards, again, got the Vanny treatment. They had nothing to do with the movie. Honestly, you could get them completely rid of the movie. You could just get rid of them completely, and nothing would change. They amounted to nothing. Like, I think we had a few cool things with them. Foxy, the mask, but it was so done. There was just nothing. It was just done. It was just like that. Oh, an Easter egg I did saw for like a flash of a second was Shadow Bonnie. Shadow Bonnie was a cool Easter egg. I was like, ooh, yeah, you see that? That was pretty cool. I like that. I was like, ooh, Scott wasn't kidding when there's a bunch of Easter eggs. They kind of, what did I say? I think there was, I don't know. I think the thing I'm a bit iffy on is kind of where the story went. I don't know. I think especially toward like the middle end, the kind of like the end of it is kind of where I'm a bit iffy on. Now, of course, if you know, they completely went off like the story, and it's just like I have no idea what they're gonna do for the third one. I really don't know. Like, they really went off a different path. I didn't know what they were going to do for the third one. Easter eggs, actually, real quick, I wanted to talk on. The one that really surprised me the most, again, spoilers, was Baby. They just showed Baby for like 3 seconds or like 10 seconds or something. The moment they showed Baby, I like was freaking out, bro. I yelled, like, not super loudly, because obviously I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously there's everyone around, I could shout, but I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Everyone was like that. I was like, oh my gosh, bro. I was so amazed. I was actually freaking out when that happened, bro. It was insane. That Baby popped up. Baby, of all people, popped up. And it was obviously in the dream of Vanessa. But I just, like, I don't know what they're going to... Are they going to make more movies? Is the third one going to be the finale? Or are they going to make Sister Location? Like, what are they going to do? It was so crazy. It was so insane, man. I really am just interested what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. Because it really just... That one freaked me out. That one was like, what? And Baby looked amazing. Oh my gosh, bro. Baby looked so good. Baby looked so good, too. They did not disappoint with the animatronics. They looked so good. Anyways, let's move to the story. So, story. Michael... Okay, so story. They changed a lot. Michael Afton is evil. The puppet is evil. That is what I'm a bit iffy on. Now, in the games, of course, we don't fully know what Michael's story is. We know vague. We know stuff like, oh, he was FNAF 2, I'm pretty sure, and stuff. And he could have been manipulated by William. Obviously, he went to go find William and eventually kill him off. But really, besides that, we don't know much about him. But in the movie, they completely went off a different path. They completely directed it way off the path. He's a villain. He wants to continue William's legacy. He wanted to allow Vanessa to also kind of like be like, yo, you're his kid. Continue his legacy. So I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. And then they just abruptly stopped him. I don't know. The ending is just kind of what throws me off. That's what throws me off. And I think another thing that I kind of get, because I remember Raz saying that, like, things toward the end kind of like fill some things, but there's a few plot holes at the start. That's Michael. Michael's the one that's the plot hole, because in the end, he's the one kind of being the controller, right? He's the one that controls the toys. But at the start, he laughs, but then he's also scared and runs off. So I don't know if the puppet is like, I don't know, right? I don't know if the I don't know. The puppet is such an character that I just don't understand in this, because the puppet is just, I don't know. He's weird. The puppet's weird in this. Or she's weird. I don't know. The puppet only goes after parents. Any parent. He doesn't blame William, but just every other parent. Because in the movie, the parents do not give a crap about Charlie or Charlotte. They don't care about her. Charlotte notices a kid go into the back room with William, and she's like, "Oh, what the frick is happening? This kid's in trouble." So she goes to like a bunch of parents, and every parent like pushes her out of the way, like. It completely ignores her. It's like, oh, adults just being aware. They completely ignore her. So she doesn't blame William. She just blames every other parent. That one confuses me, because she genuinely just kills everyone. And that brings me to another point, that if Puppet is also considered, if Puppet is also controlling the toys, why is Puppet going after Michael if Michael's also the one controlling the toys? That's what I don't understand. Looking back on it, I don't understand. Michael took control, is kind of the one in charge of the toys. Puppet is the one taking control of the toys. So what's what? Are they working together? Because if they're working together, it's a one-sided thing because Puppet tried to kill Michael. If it's not a one-sided thing, why did the puppet why did the toys listen to Michael if the puppet's controlling them? Or if Michael's controlling them, why did they listen to the puppet? Like, that's what I don't understand. That's kind of the confusion I don't get. Second of all, the ending, bit weird. The ending was a bit weird. I made a joke during it saying, like, oh yeah, it's like, imagine, because Mike Schmidt goes to the original location to kind of ask them for help, be like, help me, because there's no way we can defeat the toys on our own, so please, if you're out there, help me. They don't come, but as he leaves, as the midway, I'm like making a joke in some of my mind, I'm making a joke, like being like, oh yeah, what if, like, oh yeah, what if, like, at the end it's just like Mike's like, oh yeah, we can't beat them on our own. What are we gonna do? And then Freddy comes in. You're not alone. And then completely wipes the floor with them. That would have been funny. And then it happened. Obviously, it didn't happen exactly like I made like the joke, but it just came out of nowhere, man. It was it was a bit ridiculous. Like, I just don't know. Like, I'm a bit on the edge of that ending. It felt weird. Because the toys, again, like, didn't do much. They were just killed. The old guys came in, the original guys came in, wiped the floor with them, killed them. And there was a huge action. It was like, part of me liked it, part of me didn't like it, and part of me was confused. Like, I'm really on the edge of it. I'm really mixed on that ending. Because then they die. Because obviously they had like parameters. They couldn't leave and then they'd be shut off. And they'd die. And then that's what happens. I don't know. It was just so weird. I don't know. I'm a bit mixed on that. Because the toys all die. Chica had this epic moment between Toy Chica. And it's like, and then it kills him. It felt weird. It felt fast. It felt like they rushed. Oh my. Now, it was all really crazy. I don't know. I'm still a bit iffy, but I really do want to talk about the ending with Vanessa and Mike and everything. This is what I didn't really like about it. So after everyone's down, after the animatronics are dead. By the way, the animatronics are dead. The original boys in FNAF 1, their spirits moved on to heaven, and stuff. So again, that's why I don't really understand what's going to happen next, because obviously, if you guys know, Golden Freddy's the spirit that doesn't leave and is the vengeful one that eventually is the one that leaves after into his hell. So that's the one I bit iffy on. That I don't understand what they're going to do for the third one and stuff. Because again, the third one's supposed to be where you free the spirits, depending on the ending you get. So I don't know. Or Charlotte, really, I guess. So I don't know. But anyways, after the animatronics are dead and moved on, after, again, Michael, which, again, he's kind of a coward, but Michael gets immediately defeated, they all kind of start like, okay, we need to get out of this house. Let's get the frick out of here. Vanessa starts to go, and this is where I'm this is where I'm like, Vanessa's like, okay, let's go. Mike's like, no, leave us alone. We can never trust you. It's just like, I don't really like that. I don't really like that. There's just nothing to it. Like, yeah, she lied about having a brother. She lied about the play. It's just, there's just things. I don't know. I feel like it's things that could have been talked about. Not been like, yeah, get away from us. Get away from us. I don't trust you. Get away from us, It's like, even if she lied about things, it doesn't change the fact. It's not like she's the one, that they're after. Like, no, you still are kind of a huge part of it, and Abby was the reason anyways. So I don't know. I think that part could have been done better. I think another thing is, with the ending, is, again, spoilers. I mean, you've probably seen the movie at this point. Charlie I don't know. Puppet takes over Vanessa. That's the ending scene. Vanessa gets taken over by the puppet, and then that's the end. That's the part I don't know how to feel. I'm mixed. On one hand, it's interesting. Second hand, lore-wise, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. This is what I don't know. Because again, the after-credit scene, well, the post-credit scene, is William is obviously where FNAF 3 does in the recording. You know, we found one, a real one, and it's obviously where they find Springtrap. And obviously, Springtrap still looks good. Obviously, we didn't fully see him because there was a tarp or whatever you want to call it over him, so we don't really fully see what he's like. But we see what he looks like pretty much overall, and he's green, obviously. That's what I don't understand. FNAF 3 is obviously going to take place in the horror attraction. But how long? Because obviously we know FNAF 3 takes 30 years after? What's going to happen? What the frick's going to happen between that FNAF 2 and FNAF 3? If it does follow suit, which it seems like it's going to do, what the frick's going to happen with Vanessa? Vanessa's getting taken over by Puppet. The only thing I can think is that Puppet turns good, kills Springtrap. Then what? Then what happens with Michael? Because again, Michael was the one that eventually took out William. He was the one that teamed up with Henry to then kill William. And another thing, if the end credit scene, there's no scene, but there's audio of Henry doing an audio tape like in FNAF 6, except it's different. It's kind of telling, it's like, Mike, there was one thing I forgot to mention. Just in case I need to tell you, just in case I don't make it. The puppet, he's cuts off. There's a lot of banging noises and everything. He's like, Charlie. So, no, he says, Charlie. So, Mike, there's one thing I need to tell you. And I'm sending you this just in case I can't tell you in person. Charlotte. It's Charlie. It's Charlotte. Cuts off a bunch of noise. It's the Marietta. You need to get out of it. And then cuts off. He's like, quick, she's after me. You have to get out of there. It's found me. And boom, and cuts off. Did they kill Henry? What the frick's gonna happen with Henry? Because again, Henry was the reason Springtrap William's gone. That's the reason he went to hell. Golden Freddy's the one that obviously takes his soul and obviously gives him his eternal hell. I just don't know what they're gonna do. I have no ideas. Besides some things that maybe Vanessa finds some way to kind of go into the head of the marionettes and change Charlie's thoughts, and Charlie turns good and then defeats William. I don't know. I have no ideas. If you guys have any ideas, leave them in the comments, but I don't know. I have no clue. Absolutely no clue. So I think that was cool. I think the ending credits was cool. I just wish there was more. I don't know. Again, overall, I like the movie. I just wish we had more information, because it leaves on a total cliffhanger. You have nothing. You have no clue what's gonna happen. No clue what's gonna happen next. I don't know. I'm a bit lost. On what's gonna happen, and I know it's interesting. I don't know the routes they took. Everything. I think it was good, but it was still a bit confusing. And again, I think this movie is going to be a bit confusing for non-FNAF fans. And I think this still falls under the same criteria as the first one, that this movie is going to be a tiny bit confusing if you're not a FNAF fan. If you're a FNAF fan, you're going to freaking love this. You're going to freak out oh my gosh, I know that. But non-FNAF fan, not going to understand too much and not going to be freaked out about stuff as much as obviously a FNAF fan would. I think that's my only few complaints. My complaints are, it went too fast. They didn't flesh out all the characters as much as I would like. The animatronics weren't used as much. The story was a bit iffy. But overall, it was good. Those are my cons. My pros are, it was scarier. It was written better. There was more kind of ooh, okay. And I think it was interesting. It was very interesting. I don't know. It's hard to put into words. I think you have to see the movie to fully understand it. but it is really, I don't know, it's there. It's confusing in some ways. It really is. So I don't know. I wish we got to see more of Henry. I hope he gets a bigger part in this. I hope he gets a bigger part in the games or in the movies. Sorry. Again, I don't know if they're gonna go past 3, but it's I don't know. It's confusing. I think it really is. Overall, I like the movie. Overall, I liked it. There was a good amount of Easter eggs. Scott said there was, and there was. I'll list some few. Obviously, Baby, Shadow Freddy. Apparently, there was Pop Goes. Oh, one of my favorite scenes was the har 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 har. That was pretty good. That was funny. What else am I missing? I think that was it. Oh yeah, the ending also shocked me. I was so confused. I was like, what? I was so shocked by the ending. I completely was like, oh yeah, crap. Wait, they're playing the FNAF 2 Living Tombstone song in the after credits. I was like, what? Oh, so we got to see Corey back too. That was pretty cool. So I mean, yeah, overall, good movie, especially for a FNAF fan. It was good. I think it was worth the wait. We didn't have to wait 10 years like last time, or 8 years, whatever you want to say. So, I mean, yeah. Overall, I think it was a good movie. Again, there was some things I had problems with, but I think overall it was a pretty good film. Obviously, I've already seen critics hate it. Again, I think overall, critics suck. I think every time critics give a review, it's always the opposite of what they say. If they say they hate it, it's probably going to be okay, unless the movie's actually just atrocious. If the movie's good, they'll probably say it sucked. So I think overall this movie was pretty good. For a non-FNAF fan, I don't know. I just know it's probably not going to be as good if you were a FNAF fan. Also, my theater did not react much to stuff. Obviously, it did react to stuff. But it wasn't like some overreacting, oh my gosh, So, overall, I like the movie. I think it was good. I recommend checking it out, especially if you're a FNAF fan. But that's about it, guys. I'll answer some questions if you have any in the comments. If you watch this video and you have any questions, I'll ask them. But overall, I think this movie was good. Thank you all for watching. I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye.